2, 1. Let's get it, America. You back with the good guys with the same stuff on because technically it's the same night, but you'll get this on different days. So it's not like we didn't take a shower and we wore the same thing to work. It's just like it's the same night, but you get it on different days of the same greatest show known to man. Is What's Good America. And I am the Prime Minister himself, the delegate of Duval County, Mr. 904 himself, C. Turner, and you can't touch me with an indictment. All right? I'm out here dodging it right now. I'm pretty much the Scarface of Jacksonville, Florida. I'll take that back. I ain't been home in a minute, so we don't worry about that. I'm not in trouble. Anyway, moving on to my right-hand man on my left-hand side. I'm still my left-hand man on my right-hand side. That's not only the only thing he's drinking. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, all you see is the 7-Up. That glass got liquor in it. There we go. People think she was being sober. No, he has alcohol. The always buzzworthy Buzz Lightyear himself, Mr. West Coast, the south suburbs of Chicago, Mr. Wild Hunters himself, Chicago's public school highest standard outside of Oprah, James Big Game Madison Walton the third. What's going on, baby?
Hey, what's good, America? First and foremost, shout out to CPS all day, all love. Would y'all believe that I actually was watching Toy Story before we started this today? You said Buzz Lightyear. I thought it was hilarious. Callie was over here. She was like, babe, put on Toy Story. I'm trying to stay awake. She did a marathon today for work. And she was like, put on Buzz Lightyear. I gotta stay awake so I can go back to work. So swear to God, I watched Toy Story. So that's hilarious. You said Buzz Lightyear.
So Toy Story is what keeps her up.
Well, it worked too, you know, did my thing, made my little salmon, made a little asparagus on the grill. Bays would have been proud. I was out there, what I'm saying? Put a little olive oil in there, had a little garlic salt, a little Lowry's, sprinkle. I did my thing, you know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, your boy has to do what he has to do, to keep things right. And speaking of Bays, he's here, America, number 15 in some programs, number 40 in others. But either way, the only other guy that I've seen have a more devastating spin move off that line is Dwight Freeney. That's who Mike Bazemore is. And Mike Bazemore is here. Tell him what's good, Baconator.
We back. It's quarterback bashing season. Let's go.
Well, America, as I am still hosting tonight, this second segment is just special.
Oh my God.
And I told you guys, as soon as he started going off in that show, we were going to take our tangent and have fun and focus on this game a little bit. And I think we'll call this the mystique of quarterbacks. So I'm going to start with Bates. You were going a bit of a tangent on Aaron Rodgers and a tangent on the quarterback position in general, but you really were kind of focusing. I think the Aaron Rodgers game really kind of set a nerve for you. So whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whatever, I want you to kind of take that narrative, man. Just go ahead and take us to this 20 to 40 minutes we're gonna do here, man, on this second segment, man. How you feeling about that? All the glory to the court, like it. Your moment's here, and you got Aaron Rodgers as the example, which just makes me ecstatic that he was the other quarterback that played like shit this weekend.
So here's what grinds my gears. Here's what grinds my gears with the quarterback position. Now, no quarterback that I played with has had this entitlement type of an attitude. It's the media, it's the fans that feed into the narrative that the quarterback is the most important position on the field. It's a so here is the walking contradiction. If the quarterback position is so important, then why do you complain when they don't have an offensive line? Why do you complain when they don't have a running game? Why do you complain when they don't have receivers? Why do you complain when they don't have a defense? So if the quarterback position is so important, why can't they overcome all of these obstacles? You know why? Because it's a team game. The engine is important to the car, but if you don't got tires, that car ain't moving. If you don't got a starter, that car ain't starting. If you don't got a windshield, maybe you can drive it certain miles per hour, but you can't get on the highway and drive 80 miles an hour and keep your eyelids open.
Message.
Ace Ventura is the only guy I ever seen drive a car without a windshield with efficiency. That's all I got to say about that. So you make a good point.
Message.
So stop being lazy. Stop feeding into this narrative that the quarterback position is the most important position, because it's not. It's very important, but it takes a lot of other cogs to highlight the importance of this position. And you speaking on this Aaron Rodgers, he's supposed to be a Hall of Famer, this and that.
Well,
and
it ain't no like.
He's
okay,
the
I gotta
most.
stop you. I gotta stop you right there.
I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere.
Don't do our show like that.
I'm just saying he's supposed to be this Hall of Famer, supposed to be the greatest thrower of the football in the modern era, but yet he's coming up short in the playoffs. So what's up, America? You tell me how you want it. Walt said it last episode. Y'all keep moving the goalposts. Is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it one mic? You tell me how you want to have this discussion about quarterbacks. Because I can't figure it out. Yeah. Excuse me. So are we going to give them their proper due when they don't play well and keep that same energy? Or are you going to move the goalposts and blame it on another position when the team loses? So let me know.
Chris, can I just say that I was touched?
You can go, Walt. I just want to give Steve credit because, one, I'm on his side, not because we're talking about quarterbacks, but anytime you quote Jay-Z to me, I don't give a damn what the topic about. You're right.
I just want to, I want to let you go, Chris. I just want to say, man, as soon as he started going, I was like, man, this feels like an extended version of my Give Me a Minute. Like he just took it and took it to a whole different level when I'm talking about how narratives change. And you hear it all the time. Well, he didn't have this. Well, every NFL team doesn't have something by some point.
It's week 18. Everybody's hurt.
What I can validate is if Tom Brady would have had Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown, I do believe the Rams would have lost that game because they didn't keep the pedal on for 4 quarters. You got to do like you're supposed to. The magic number in football, we all know this. Even in indoor football, we knew this. You got to be up. When you're up 5 scores, teams say enough.
Yeah.
Even 4 scores, you can do it because we saw it with the Rams game. 27-3 is 4 scores. Tom Brady tied the game. Excuse me. I don't want to take from Base's narrative. The Buccaneers tied the game.
There you go.
Sorry, Base, because that's the point you're making. Buccaneers tied the game. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing we have to start doing. And I think it's fair to analyze a group when they don't do well. And I think it's fair to say, hey, they didn't bring it. That's what the sports media is supposed to do. Because I know that for a fact. I mean, I never needed a sports media. When I played in my 2 championship teams, when I didn't play well, I had all the sports media I needed. I'll never forget our Colorado game the second year. Because remember we played Everett. We played McCullum. That was the other one. That was the other. Everett was the North, and he was, I can't remember. Kent. We played Kent the first game at home, And remember, I got the concussion. Like I got knocked so stupid that I played the rest of the game and I was running away from Mark Goldie and them. And then we went up to Colorado and I caught one ball. It was a touchdown. Like I dropped balls. I ended up reactivating. I ran into one of the rails during the game, right in my face mask. And it was before I had the Zenith, or actually I had the Zenith, and it re-rattled my concussion. I was out. And all I remember on the bus ride back, I love Nolan Fisher to this day for this. Because Nolan was like, man, what happened to Miss Saturday night? All of a sudden, we didn't want a championship, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Who's this guy? He know me. That's what it's about. Nolan was like, yeah, I'm calling you out. You over here saying these crazy things during camp. You've got 2 catches in 2 games. Who the are you, right? And it's like, all right, Nolan. And then, and Chris moved me to Z that week. I said, so now I'm not good enough to play. Oh, I was hot that week. We played Tri-Cities the first of 4 times. Oh, Jesus Christ. We played them dudes 4 times.
That was fucking ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Anyway, but I remember that feeling of like, yeah, we won that game, but had we had one of our best players play well, we wouldn't have to squeak that one out.
Right.
We probably would have won by a couple scores like we did the majority of the time we played together. And I love that narrative of you didn't play well because it was a fact. You're not supposed to average or catch a game when you've been in the MVP conversation for 2 years. That is unacceptable. Which brings me to Aaron Rodgers, who is going to have the dubious honor, as I would call it, of winning the Dirk Nowitzki style of an MVP. There's nothing worse than winning that award, and you've not even been playing, your sport for a couple of weeks. Remember when Dirk was the MVP in 2007, which rightfully so, he had a hell of a season. Right. And then the Warriors were the 8th seed and knocked them out of the playoffs. It changed some things. People were like, yo, maybe y'all should start giving that award out right after the season. And, because they always honorary give it to Michael Jordan used to get that award in the second, third round. I've seen it with Karl Malone, Charles Bark, they usually give it to that guy in the second, third round. And now that they've been doing the NFL honors, they've been pushing that to the day before. You're really kind of you're messing up certain guys. So here's a guy, the team had the best record in all of football. All of football. It snowed. It was snowing. It was 0 degrees at one point in that game. And he scored with his rest of his teammates. You can't even give him the 3. 3 of those are Mason Crosby's. He's responsible for 6 of those. And his numbers were outlandish. He threw 4 interceptions. His numbers were dumb. His numbers will forever be Bays. This is what, and I've even said this, and I will repeat this about Aaron Rodgers because I'm looking forward to actually getting to be a fan of him once he gets out of that ugly ass uniform so I can be objective about him. That's what I hate about being a true fan. Hard to be objective. He's doing things, Bays, at his position. He hasn't even thrown 100 interceptions in his career yet, Bays. You can go look that up. I think he's sitting at 98 interceptions. He's been playing football for 17 years.
That's ridiculous.
So he is as good as advertised. However, this is the argument I make, and this is what I always talk about. I talked about it on Sunday. It will always come out. I love and respect who and what LeBron James represents. I love him as a basketball player. I love his career. But this is what I'm talking about. This is a part of the moving the goalpost. It's this theory that it is okay to not make it to the end and win. And he has started this narrative. Right when he started winning MVPs, and he went 2 out of 4 in Miami, That's when all this deflection used to start. Because I think people don't think like the way Jordan is praised and the way that Montana, you know, and all that. I don't think they thought people got blasted. Michael Jordan lost in 1995. He got roasted. Everybody thinks the media was so fair on this guy. This dude got shitted on every year he never won a title. After 1986, when he put those 63 points up, they were like, this guy needs to win a championship every year from this point moving forward. And they don't understand what that means. And that's why some of us, I would call us protective, but it's more about the thought process of what Michael instilled in a lot of us, what Larry and Magic understood and what Isaiah represented in basketball, what Steve Young, his one title, what that really meant to his entire career. Why Troy Aikman is a Hall of Famer. Yes, his numbers look the way they look, but Troy Aikman played in a different era. And Troy Aikman kept Jim Kelly from winning Super Bowls.
A couple.
Jim Kelly lost to Mark Rippon. Do you understand what I'm saying? How hard it is to win? Nobody talks about the Buffalo Bills franchise. Like everybody's talking about them now like this is some new thing. I don't know what that was, America. That me?
Nah, that was my laptop.
I love it, Baze.
Like,
add a little theme music. Anyway, like they think like this is like the Bills are just now this winning franchise. Like, no. We all remember if you wanted any chance to beat San Francisco in Tecmo Bowl, who was you taking?
Thurman
Outside
Thomas.
of Bo Jackson. You taking Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, James Lawson, Andre Reed, and you going bombs away on that ass.
Yep.
So the thing with Aaron Rodgers, God, we've actually avoided him for about 17 minutes. I love, as a receiver, there's no other quarterback I'd want throwing me a football. I'm telling you. But the reality of it is that, accept it for what it is. This word GOAT, or even trying to put him in the greatest of all time. First of all, I have said on numerous occasions, and I've had this disagreement with people, not you guys, but there is a 1A and 1B in my mind for the greatest NFL football players that have ever lived. And their names are Walter Payton and Lawrence Taylor. Outside of that, miss me with greatest. We can do by position. I don't think Walter Payton's even the greatest running back to ever play. I think it's Barry Sanders. But I think Walter Payton is the greatest football player to ever play because he did everything. And I think Lawrence Taylor is the greatest football player to ever play because he changed the game. Lawrence Taylor is the Michael Jordan of football. America, I want you to, as you see Mike Bazemore in this screen, that's who Lawrence Taylor was in his prime. 6'4", 250 pounds, can run 4.6. He was bigger than everybody else. He was faster than everybody else. He was more skilled than everybody else. And Baze is a mean son bitch. But imagine Baze's meanness combined with Chris Turner telling you that he basically wanted to punch Brody Croyle in the face after that loss. And then multiply that times 10. That's who Lawrence Taylor is. And Brody, we still love you. Don't worry about it, man. You know it's all love. You know we won't curse when you come on the show. So I'm with you, Baze. I don't buy into the narrative that the quarterback is necessarily the most important person on the team. But when you've got a really good one, we've had the fortunate honor of being able to play with the best of, his league, and we had a chance to play with that, and we understood what that meant to have that guy. But that guy was as accountable as any player I've ever played with. When he didn't play well, he took it personally. He never, ever said, you guys know, when he did not play up to his standards, And I'm telling you, there were games he'd throw 5 touchdowns and 1 pick. And we'd sit there and talk about that pick, especially if it was his fault. If it wasn't somebody running a route wrong, if he made a mistake, he would go, yeah, we got some stuff to clean up. I've seen those articles. So I know that. So I'd say the main thing with Aaron Rodgers is it's good riddance out of my conference. Bays, I'll be honest with you. I'd love to see him on your team.
I'll take him.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong now.
That'd be a
I
nice
wouldn't like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, I would take Aaron Rodgers over Carr any day of the week.
That's no disrespect to David Carr, because I'd take David Carr and the Bears right now, and we'd have 4 more wins than we have.
See, you're trying to trigger me with Justin. I know exactly what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing.
I'm not trying to trigger you. This is about Aaron Rodgers.
I will keep the same energy. Keep the same energy.
No, you and I will have a show. We'll have a show for that later. Bays, think about this. Chris Turner hasn't even answered for Alabama's sins back in early January. We got a lot of things where some people want to answer for some of the dumb takes they've had on
those receivers for Alabama were trash.
So
trash. That might have been the worst receiving core I've seen out of Tuscaloosa in the last 100 years. Trash.
See, I don't want to see. His time will come. That might be a 3-part show. Like, we might need to break that up in segments. You know, it might take us 3 to do that. That might be a trilogy to break that show down. Because if we have Anton on, Anton ain't gonna let nobody say shit for about 35 minutes. You know that. That might be the whole show. Is Anton just going, "What, Turner? I told your ass. We here. It's forever." He's gonna repeat that on a cycle. But I want to stick to Aaron Rodgers, and I think to me it's kind of the same narrative what we talked about with the Ryan Tannehill. Like, when a guy is that great as defenders, how do you feel when a guy that has bailed you out in the past, how do you handle that in that locker room, especially with everything that's going on with them this year? Like, we haven't gotten the honest answers. They've talked about, well, Aaron, with how he's handled COVID, and I don't know, and the bending over backwards. Forget that take. How do players look at that and they see it? Do they see it as like, damn, maybe I need to get out of here too? Or do they look at it like, damn, I can't believe this dude couldn't beat Jimmy Garoppolo head to head? Jimmy Garoppolo had better numbers, and he did not play that well. But he made more throws when it mattered. That's the truth. Did you watch that one, Bays? Because I know all of us, I think Chris might have been the one that watched all 4 games. I know I missed the Rams game.
I caught the Rams game. I missed the Niners game and the Packers.
So you missed the Niners game. Yeah, I watched every minute. Yeah. I mean, the wife was not playing. We were ready. We were front and center with Niners gear. I had my wife's Niners gear. She picked out my Niners gear to be good luck, you know. Like, hey, I was like, hey, baby, this is the one game you ain't got to worry about nothing. I need Green Bay to lose this so bad. You have no idea. This is my Christmas present right here. So how do you react as defensive players when the perennial MVP and soon to be back-to-back MVP, that has not happened too often in the NFL.
No.
When he lays an egg, when you played as well, that team had been dynamic the last 10, 11 weeks, the Niners. Like, how do you guys as defensive players?
So me personally, like, so in the last show, I said I hate a quarterback that falls on his own sword. Like, so after the game, it's like, hey guys, this one's on me. I have to do, but like, I hate that guy. I do. Like, I don't mind if you come out and say, you know what, hey, I got to get better. But when you make the whole dramatic scene, like, listen, this is why, another reason why I told Tim Tebow not to come to Alabama like this. Nobody's ever going to work as hard as I work. No, man, shut up, bro. Just shut up. Like, that's trash. I don't care about all that. Like I don't want you to sit there and go, please go ahead.
That was crazy.
What?
But wait, did he live up to it and beat the shit out you, or were you
He
going?
did. He did. He did.
Did you catch some football hands from him when he said nobody gonna? Hey, it won't happen again. Did you take that L?
We did take that L.
So
And
that
then the
shit
next year, we made him cry in Atlanta. Anyway, I hate a quarterback.
No.
They made him cry.
You weren't no.
I
Were
was
you
gone.
on the team where he beat
I
the
was
shit
gone.
out you?
I was gone.
Yeah,
I was gone.
That's for you.
But
I just wanted to clarify that.
I hate a person who dies on their sword, like, and just makes it a whole dramatic thing. So I guess I can be the one person where I guess I'm kind of on Aaron Rodgers' side after the game, I guess, because like he knew he didn't have the best possible game. So his whole thing, like, I gotta play better. And like that was it. Like that's the emotion you got out of it. Because he's not, I don't think he's like, besides him being checked out since week 1, week 5, whatever it was, he decided to show up. Besides him being checked out since day 1, he's never been that quarterback that's been like the just, don't get me wrong, like the whole discount double check and all that stuff and all, like it's been cool and the commercials are funny, but he's never the quarterback that's just like they run up to and he's going to give them just that one-liner after the game. Like he's not that quarterback. I can appreciate that because you look at, not to bring Tannehill up again, but you look at Tannehill and you saw it all over his face where it's like, oh my God, I messed up. Oh crap, like, oh, I'm gonna mess up again. I gotta give Aaron credit. It's like, all right, I lost. I'll probably be somewhere next year. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who cares? I can go host Jeopardy if I want to, or I go climb a mountain and suntan with my hot girlfriend. Well, whatever I want to do, I can do. So what? I'm not gonna be a part of a rebuilding team. Like,
hey, I wanted to say this, Bays. Speaking of this, for you taking your take as a defensive player, when it's a little bit different dynamic level quarterback, and he doesn't do that. You know, how you was talking about earlier in the show we had before, how they make all these quarterbacks feel like they Jesus. You know, isn't it amazing how Aaron Rodgers has grown his facial hair and his regular hair out to look like he could be the next Passion of Christ star?
it's a fact.
Oh, Jim Caviezel looking ass Aaron Rodgers.
The pettiness.
Aaron Rodgers with the blue eyes. He look. You do the side profile. Aaron Rodgers. Give him a little wavy crimp. He looked like all the pictures our parents had up back in the day of white Jesus and shit.
Of white Jesus.
All right, go ahead, Bays.
Well, I keep that same energy. It all goes back to expectations. If you got an MVP candidate, or MVP recipient on your team, then you expect them to play at a high level. Now, when they don't perform at that level, you almost look at it like the football guys not smiling on you for that particular game. They don't want you to win. Because you know, obviously, anybody can have a bad game, but you expect your big-time players to make big-time plays in big-time games. And when they don't, it is disheartening. It's deflating. So you just kind of like, I guess it just wasn't our day. You're like, You're like, well, shit, if he ain't playing good, then hell, what else we gonna do, right? It's like,
I want to expand on that thought. So what if it continues to be a trend, though?
If it continues to be a trend where they are,
as in, you know, he got them to the promised land and they won a title.
mm-hmm.
That was in 2010.
Yeah. Okay.
They've been to 4 NFC championships. They've basically been to playoffs damn near every year.
Yeah.
Since then. And they haven't even gotten back to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
And let's say you're like one of the longer tenured guys. The one thing that has been constant has been Aaron Rodgers. But his receivers have rotated. Devontae Adams has been there 7 years. 7, 8 years, I think. Somewhere in there. I was watching I Am Athlete. That's how much I was missing us talking. I told Chris that yesterday, I was listening to other people's podcasts that I respect and admire, and I saw Jarvis was on there. I didn't even realize that Devontae and Jarvis and Odell, all these guys were in the same draft class. Like that receiver, they were talking about Jarvis's draft class, and that might be something for us to go back and do a show on. Could this be the greatest receiving draft class of all time? Like it was Odell, Jarvis, Devontae was in there. Like it was Jarvis remembered all the names because he went in the second, third round. And he was like, yep, I remember him. You know, he's like outside old, you know, it's guys that have made plays. Kelvin Benjamin was in that draft. It was crazy. So different show. But let's say you've been like one of the longer tenured guys. Let's say you're like a Clay Matthews, you know, or you're a Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb was basically there for all of that.
Yeah.
You know, Randall Cobb is getting a chance to come back and play, you know. Now he can retire at Packer. You know how that shit goes. You know how they are. Like, how do you do it if you've been around that and this guy is taking me to the promised land, but in the last 8 or 9 tries we've had to just at least get to that game and lose? We haven't done it, and he hasn't played to his MVP standard. What's the thought then?
I mean, for
For
me,
both, and that's for both you guys too.
yeah, if I'm a longer tenure guy, preferably either got to be an offensive lineman or somebody on defense. Receiver wise, you would have to be, I don't know if Devontae Adams or Randall Cobb could come at him to that effect because they don't have the same tenure on a team as him. So I think for me on defense,
I say this not so much
yeah.
to come at him, but it's more like you're saying, like how your reaction would be.
Yeah.
Because your reaction, we're talking about Ryan Tannehill, and we know who he is, and he choked it off for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your reaction is, I need you to understand that you fucked up a lot of things for us, whether it be championships on your mind or how half the league thinks is, dude, you messed up my bonuses, and I had plans with that money with us being a 1 seed. Like these are 2 1 seeds that got knocked out by 6 seeds. Then they get knocked out by 4. Like the 6 seeds beat these guys. So thinking it for about that, like this has happened, and I'm a tenured guy with you, and I've been here, and I've been defending you, and I'm not trying to get into the whole narrative of I don't know if I want to come back and play. I'm talking about like I've been around for 8 years. So I've been in the playoffs running with you, and I've counted on you. And there have been some games where we've let you down defensively. Like,
well, I'll put it this way: because it is Aaron Rodgers, he is outside of Brady. He's who the goalpost moves for the most, mainly because his talent level is so high, but his nonchalantness and his really I don't give a damn like attitude moves the goalpost back even further because you've never seen him chew a receiver out. You never seen him chew anybody out. Like he might make a comment about the head coach or ownership, but at the same time, he's not an ass on the field. Like you might hear something from a receiver here, there, or whatever, like, oh, he's not a great leader or whatever. But at the same time, like it's the trouble off the field, I guess, by him not being a leader compared to his talent level on the field. It's like it's a different version of the AB conversation. So like it's like, oh, he's not a great leader, but he throws for less than 100 picks in 17 years. So like it's honestly a hard question to answer because even without trying to move the goalpost, you're going to move it by trying to answer the question. The longer tenured guys, there's only a handful of, and most of them are defensive guys. So like, what really can you say as a defensive guy besides, okay, well, maybe if we would have stopped him a little bit more, he would have did a little bit more. Like, are you going to go to Donald Driver and say, all right, like, well, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Well, Donald Driver's had some good seasons, but his talent level doesn't match enough to really put 2 shits behind what he says. Like, yeah, you're a good receiver, but like, I don't, it's Donald Driver. Like maybe your quarterback made you what you were. Devontae, yeah, you could say something, but you can't say anything because you got a contract coming up. And you already pretty much said, like, I'm tying my shit with him. If Aaron ain't there, I'm out. So, like, it's just a hard question to answer that you're going to change the narrative by answering the question because you're going to put in all these variables and you're going to put in all these, well, what ifs, and you're going to put in all these different scenarios to answer the question. So it's hard, it makes it harder to answer the question.
Okay, let me ask you
But
guys.
for for me,
Oh,
but for
ahead,
me,
go
it's
ahead,
different. You already got a relationship with Aaron. So however y'all get down, y'all go dinner, lunch, hang out at y'all spots. You just have a calm conversation like 12, what's good? Where we at this year? I mean, so where we at next year?
But who can do
Like,
it?
and on that particular team now, that's been there as long as I don't know their roster like that.
Like Devontae's the only one that can possibly say, hey man, we need to talk. Like that's it.
So this is what I wanted to ask you guys too, and kind of just tie it all together. Because I think for him, I think he's really had, to me, one of the greatest runs, as a franchise player for an organization. I mean, he broke Brett Favre's touchdown record this year. You know what I mean? And he's got half as many Brett Favre interceptions, right? But I want to ask you guys this, as guys that have grown up, as, positionless players, but became specialists when the money came time, which was college moving forward. When you see something like that to where you don't even see him at least lose in the NFC Championship again, and we see this all the time, and I almost want to beat people to the punch on this with Aaron Rodgers. If it ended today, if he walked away today, which I think he has the ability to do, would Aaron Rodgers make your Mount Rushmore? Is he one of your 4 greatest quarterbacks to ever do it in your mind? We're all the same age. 30 years of football, whether it's guys from the past or what you've seen. Does Aaron Rodgers get one of your 4 spots? Because that's where I think it's at with him. And for me, when I watch him, guys, I think it matters. It matters to him.
Yeah,
And he knows the Super Bowl. If he wins a second Super Bowl, because of his stats, you can't not put him in that top 4 conversation. And I think it eats at him that, to his defense, I do think he was treated a little bit jacked up in Green Bay. I'll defend him on that. I think you should have a say. That's why Russ wants out. In Seattle, he's like, I still got enough career left. I get some guys around me. I am still Russell Wilson. I can still win a second Super Bowl. I've been to 2. I win a second Super Bowl. You got to, it's in business. So that's why I love the way that you guys are both kind of thinking about that. Because I know, at least with you, Chris, I know Dan Marino has one of those spots, period. And not saying that he's the top one in your mind, but I know that. And Bayes, like, the one thing I know with you is I know you're perfectly critical of that position because of how much you loathe it as a player. So to you what kind of exemplifies greatness. So I think for us to kind of get ahead of it here, does he need to win another Super Bowl to do that? Like if he walked away today,
this is the comparison to me. He is more similar to LeBron James than Michael Jordan, because
I love
if
that.
you
hitting it on
are if you are going to tell me that as a talent, he is probably the greatest arm talent that we've seen up until Patty Melt Mahomes, then I'm confused that he hasn't gotten his team. He hasn't gotten his team to another Super Bowl. He has one. I'll give you credit for that. But if you let me have the knowledge of what he hasn't done, then yes, that's going to affect me. And it's a hard conversation because I tend to try to lean on the side of talent But if talent I know is not going to get it done when it comes to the chip, then I got to go for Mount Rushmore,
I'm gonna say,
Brady,
yeah. There we go.
Brady, Peyton, Marino, and then that fourth spot. Man, that fourth spot.
I'll make it easy for you. Your fourth spot.
I'll probably go.
So just stop.
Yeah, Montana. Yeah, Montana. That's Montana.
I can make that easy for you.
Yeah.
Those are your three, and you're looking for your fourth. I got you.
Yeah, I skipped over Montana. He was
And
in
you
my
know
head.
what's crazy, Chris? What if I told you that I think the three of us have if it was today, we all have the same Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
without even having to name it. Because you look in your head and you think about, well, we know statistically, and Peyton Manning was in the playoffs every year. And who's the guy that stopped him from winning every year?
TB12
was the Patriots, was Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And he won Super Bowls with two different teams. So here comes Tom Brady, who's another guy. That's why I put him with a notch, because Tom, winning 6 is already dope and already got your spot.
Right.
But you go someplace else, and you've elevated that franchise to where they're even thinking in my head where I'm like, dude, maybe we should tell Aaron to bring his ass down here.
I'll take him.
You know what I'm saying? So you go there. Joe Montana goes without saying, because it's a toss-up. Are you taking Joe or are you taking Terry Bradshaw? As much as I love Terry Bradshaw and what he represented the Steelers, we just know Joe Montana was a way more talented maestro, and his clutch gene is stupid. And we all are just from the same era. Like, listen, I agree with Aaron Rodgers' arm talent. To me, him and Patrick Mahomes, it's a different level of arm talent to me. I think Patrick has just more, and it's like Patrick has more and one in this game. But he and Aaron Rodgers have equal arm talent. It just looks different. It's a different package, but it's the same thing. But Dan Constantine Marino, I would have loved to have caught passes from him. Would have loved to catch passes. And Tom Brady goes without saying. He's got Robert Ory ring numbers, but he's like the ringleader. So I ain't gonna lie to you. The fact that I got that little line off with the Robert Ory was kind of dope. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. So they won't have give me a minute on there. But I kind of like my Robert Ory line. It made me smile in my head. So I think that's where I'm at with this whole Aaron Rodgers thing. And I think you're right, Chris. I think we're right here with giving minutes and a chance to redo some things, and reiterate some things here. But I would say, just to put the whole thing to rest with Aaron Rodgers, is that he missed a golden opportunity to do it this year, to ensure that when you mention the great quarterbacks, I win this Super Bowl this year, you can't do it without mentioning the name Aaron Rodgers. And I don't care what anybody says. And I've been listening to I Am Athlete. I love Chad and all these guys. I don't care about that now. I think that's bullshit. At the end of the day, no matter what you do in any part of your life, in any aspect or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to live by the motto of Babe Ruth from Sandlot. Heroes get remembered. But as Mike Bogan put it very, very well in his lyrical genius to take that on Monkeys on the Beach. The legends never die, and I'm a legend. And that's why I think Aaron Rodgers is a hero. Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Dan Marino with no rings. I think they're legends. And I think that's the best way I can classify Aaron Rodgers, is that line. I think Aaron Rodgers is a hero, and I think he's a hero to the greater Wisconsin population and that irritating fan base. that is them. That at the end of the day, it's all love, man. They're irritating as literally okay. They're irritating as fuck because you've seen the stat line. Brett Favre was their quarterback in 1992. It is 2022. They have won 2 Super Bowls with these quarterbacks. There is no other franchise in the history of the NFL that has had that type of lineage at that position. All pros and MVPs. The only other franchise that's even been close to that is Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens from 1987 to when T.O. was out of there in 2003. No other team has that. And they have 2 Super Bowls to show for that shit. It's a dysfunctional, disillusioned franchise. I love that these memes, I love the society we live in for these reasons. Because it's people pulling those type of stats out where I've been saying that shit for years to that fan base. Do you know how your evaluation of quarterback does not count when you've had your era of your team has been Hall of Famer, Don Majowski, the Magic Man, who was, on technical Super Bowl, but how good was he really? Some quarterback before him, some trash-ass quarterback before him, some trash-ass quarterback before him, and then Bart Starr for 15 years. Who's had that type of luck? They've had 45 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play. Name me another franchise that's had that much. I'll help you. You can't. The Niners are the closest ones. They had about 20 years. So, Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking forward to you getting the hell out them colors, man, so I can actually cheerlead and be a guy that probably you need me, a guy like me in your bandwagon. Not like these dudes like my best friend Daryl Reddick that's a Bears fan, but cheers for Aaron Rodgers. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Have you ever heard some shit like that? Hey, I rock with the Bears all the time, but man, Aaron Rodgers is my dude. You can't do that. That's like rule 1 against fandom. Hey, that's like you saying like, yo, man, especially in the 90s, like, yo, man, Raiders, you my squad. But man, I love John Elway. Man, if John Elway wins, I'm cool too.
About as far as I'll go is I respect his talent, I respect his game, but I'm not about to root for him.
You got to take out that uniform. Once you take off that uniform, I can like you. You in that uniform, you can eat shit. I can respect you and give you all the praise about how you play the game. But am I excited? I was like, that's why I told I'd be in my text with Daryl. I'd be like, Daryl, I love you, but you don't count. Don't tell me anything about the Bears when you talk about let's go Aaron Rodgers and you sending me gifts of him doing this bullshit. That shit makes my balls go back up in my body, man. Straight up. Chris, that'd be like Chris saying, you know what? Oh man, I really hope that if the Dolphins don't win with Dan Marino, man, I love Jim Kelly. And I'm so excited to see they'll finally break through in the Super Bowl.
I still hate Jim Kelly.
He's just now giving Tom Brady credit now that he's got a Buccaneers jersey on. It's just making my point. Like, it's easier, like, dude, I can give you some love, you know what I'm saying? That's just where I'm at with Aaron Rodgers, man. I appreciate that, guys. We didn't even really dig into him. It's hard when you've been that good. When Bays, did you go look at the interception total in the last show to see what it was, the number was?
No, they kept playing man, so I didn't get to it.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to look it up here right now while we figure out who's going to go first, but give me a minute.
So I'm going to go ahead and knock mine out.
Go for it, man.
America, give me a minute. I'm going to be short and sweet, man. Listen, when it comes down to positionless sports, it comes down to positionless football, basketball, whatever. That starts from not making your child a specialist in a sport, which is where all these trainers are making all this money from, where your child should be a quarterback from 8 years old up into high school, up until everything else. I don't think anybody on this on this podcast grew up with, all right, listen, we only gonna play football. That's not how it works. To get better at one sport, you got to do all of them. Like, I played baseball, I played basketball, I played football, and I swam for a minute. Like, did gymnastics. To get better at one thing, you got to be good at a bunch of things. So don't get in this mindset where you're paying some trainer thousands of dollars a session and all stuff for like 9 sessions for your 8-year-old to be a 5-star running back, when hell, honestly, genetics may not be on your kid's side. Like, your kid may not grow much taller than what they are. They may not get much faster, whatever the case may be. Like, stop getting hustled by these trainers thinking that, oh, all we produce is D1 cats and all you got to do is play football for the rest of your life. This shit don't work that way. So if I can tell anybody anything, any parent, anything, man, let your kid play everything. Soccer, softball, baseball, basketball, football, swim, gymnastics, dance, all let them do everything. Because a quick way to have somebody stop doing something is if that's the only thing they know how to do. America, that's been my minute.
By the way, shout out to Eat Fitness, Eat Life, Steve Whitehead. Everything you doing works. Steve Whitehead's my guy. That's my boy. We gonna shit on all the trainers. Steve Whitehead's training everybody out there in Eastern Washington. That's where my kid, if my kid got any type of foot talent, you hanging out with Uncle Steve Whitehead for something. I'm paying for that dormitory. My guy. Go ahead, Baze.
America, give me a minute. Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick. Who deserves more credit? Come close. It doesn't matter. Both won 6 champions. You got 6 or 5, right? 6 years, 6 championships together. Okay? It doesn't matter who you think gets more credit. They both have 6 rings together. So that argument is stupid. Stop feeding into the media. Stop it. It takes a good coach, several good coaches. It takes a good team, consistency. Okay? So stop falling into the media hype of getting into the lazy conversation of who deserves more credit. It doesn't matter. They both got 6 rings together. America, spend my minute.
That's pretty good. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a topic way out of left field because I just saw. I didn't even read the article today. I just saw it. I think it might have been clickbait, but I'm going for it anyway. So America, I take my sip. Give me a minute. Dear new school, younger head rappers, born and raised in the city or the area of Atlanta, Georgia, stop putting Outkast's name in your mouth. Period. Guys, I didn't even click on it. And I know that they've made some good hits, and it seems like they've got some respect here and there, whatever it may be. But I saw an article that said that it was the fact that they did it or didn't do it, I'm not even worried about it. But it was Ray Schrimmer. How do you say the Schrimmer? Is it Schrimmer or Schrimmer?
I don't know. I'm old.
I can only read proper English.
Ray Schrimmer, you know.
I get confused trying to pronounce his name with a bunch of vowels together, a bunch of vowels and consonants together. So I struggle.
Yeah. Ray Schrimmer, you know, they've had some hits, you know what I'm saying? They've done some things, you know, in the last 7-8 years. Like, credit where credit is due. But I saw an article clip that read, Ray Shrimmer responds to the fact that they said that they have more influence on Outkast. They're more influential or better than Outkast. The fact that you're even putting yourself in the position that that's a title article of clickbait. Atlanta rappers that have been rapping since after 2010. I've got the Bernie Mac advice for you that we have used multiple times on the show. Are you ready for it? Baze, I think you might know it. I know Chris knows it. Shut the fuck up. Continually trying to say you're better on what gave Atlanta its sound in the first place is literally like saying that I'm a Christian, but you know what? Jesus ain't make no sense. Like, you can't do that. If you believe in what you do and in your rap hood and you're from Atlanta, you need to go ahead and do Big Boy, Andre, and the Dungeon Family. Every time you pray and make a record. I guarantee you that's what T.I. and them did, Jeezy, Gooch, all the guys that have been big one. No, 2 Chainz is from Tennessee, right? I don't try to overdo it for who's from Atlanta, because I don't want to do that, but I know who's made that money, and it's worth it. And here's the bottom line, man. And this is the point that I think ties in with Aaron Rodgers, I think, and why my Give Me a Minute makes sense that it's going in. Paying homage to those that gave you the ability to expand on the craft is what you're supposed to. But you need to at least be able to equal what the greats did. If you don't have a diamond record, shut the fuck up. If you haven't been one of the 3 hip-hop artists to win Best Album of the Year, shut the fuck up. Outkast was 2. And Lauryn Hill sang on half that record. So are they really 1 or are they 2? I can't do that to Lauryn Hill because Andre was singing his ass off on that Love Below. So let's, you know I love you, Miss Hill, because that verse on that Nobody, thank God for you and Nas and hip hop and that album. Boy, woo! Babes, we still ain't even really talked about that album like we should have last year. We talked about Silk Sonic. We should have really talked about the album of the year in Black music, which was Nas's King's Disease. Anyway, point is, just stop it. And it's just a forewarning, yes. 1, I do twang a little bit. I ain't from the South. I am from the dead ass North. But I do the same thing when people want to act like, we ain't nothing but Kanye. No. We are Common, Twista. That's who put us on.
Chief.
I knew that was coming. I did that just for Chris to be able to do that. Shout out Chief.
Bang, bang.
But that's my point. I will reiterate one more time. New head Atlanta rappers are coming in. Stop putting Outkast in your mouth. Be thankful for them. There is no Atlanta sound without Outkast. Trust me on this one. I've done the research. America, it's been on.
America, we appreciate you hanging in there with us for another fantastic episode of What's Good America. I would like to thank our esteemed colleague, Michael A. Bazemore, the always sensational and greatest wide receiver known to man, period, James Big Game Walton III, myself, the Prime Minister of Duval County, C. Turner, and the same point. Matter of fact, thank you to all the sponsors, 9 Round Fitness, Rebel Coffee, Barstool Sports, we still coming for you. You feel what I'm saying? But the same question I'm gonna ask you tonight.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, before you do that, Chris, should I do a chic workwear ad?
I feel like we need a chic workwear commercial real quick.
All right. Chic workwear.
Oh.
If you don't know, now you know, Flato. Baze knows what it is.
So thank you to Chic Workwear, Cups by Chris as well. With all that being said, the same question I'm gonna ask you tonight is the same question I ask you at all times. And what is that, Walt?
What's good, America?
What's good, America?